Hello everyone, today we are going to focus on the medical device development phases. The awareness on medical device development phases are so important because when you are working for a company or when you are working for an industry, so you'll be focusing only on a particular area or a particular phase or particular activities. So you will not be doing each and every activities which is described or distributed in different phases. So this will give a general idea or a high level understanding on the program and the process which we follow during the development. Also, we know that the medical device companies are responsible for the safety and effectiveness of their product throughout the entire medical device life cycle. So the activities involved in the each phase of the life cycle to be planned and properly planned, controlled and monitored, and also evaluated to ensure the safety and quality of the product. So basically, the effective management of the medical devices throughout that life cycle is a crucial process that provides value for the manufacturers and the end users. So the development phases, different companies define in different ways. So few of them may have six phases, some few of them may have five phases. So here I have divided the total development phases into six. Uh, uh, so the with some unique regulatory requirements that apply in each phases. So the first phase is named as idea or initiation. The second is planning. The third is design and development. The fourth is the verification and validation. This fifth is the launch, and the last phase, sixth phase is post-market. Now we'll see the activities involved in each phase. The first phase, the concept or initiation. The medical device exists only as an idea. Each medical device begins as an idea to resolve a particular medical problem. So there are a list of activities involved in that. Those are market analysis, the competitive assessment, early risk assessment, financial feasibility study, the voice of customer, and the patent research. We will see details about each activities moving forward. The second phase is the planning phase. The planning phase is the collection of user needs and transition of those user needs to a technical requirement for the final product. The plans doing at this phase are the project plan, the design and development plan, the risk management plan, the regulatory plan, the quality plan, the operations plan, and the usability engineering plan. So also in some cases, the early concept design or selection can be done at the end of this phase. Now we'll look into the phase three, the design and development. Once the requirements have been established, the design phase of the product will get started. Uh, there are a couple of activities in the design and development. So those are detail design, the prototype development, the packaging development, the process development, and the risk management documentation. Now the phase for the verification and validation. The verification and validation activities focus more to ensure the designed product is as per the design input and meeting all the user requirements. And also there will be some clinical studies will be done to ensure the safety of the product. So the activities involved in the verification validation phases are the design verification and validation, the packaging verification and validation, labeling verification and validation, the clinical validation, and also the full process qualification for the manufacturing process of the product. Next is the launch phase. Launch phase is the fifth phase of the development. Uh, so here the product will be labeled and regulatory submissions will be made, and once it is approved, the product enters to the launch phase of the whole life cycle. Uh, so there are a couple of activities in that are the regulatory submission, the sterilization of the product, the accelerator aging of the product, and necessary training and support once after the launch. Now the last phase, the sixth phase, the post-market phase. Once the medical device has entered the marketplace, it also enters the post-market stage of the life cycle. So the activities involved in the post-market phase are the post-market surveillance, the report evaluation, the product improvement, and identification and launching of the product in different new markets. So these all are the highlights of the medical device development phases. Now we'll see the activities in each phases a little more detail. Now we'll see the first phase activities. So as you know, the first phase is concept or initiation phase. Here, as I said, the product exists as an idea, and also there are a lot of activities to be performed to make sure the idea is really worth and it gives revenue to the company. So the first activity in this phase is market analysis. So through the market analysis, you will be able to identify the strength, weakness, and opportunities of the market. So you will be able to determine whether your product is really going to be accepted by the market or not. The second activity in this phase is competitive assessment. It's the study on the current competitors and their products available in the market, and also the potential impact on the business decisions. The third one is the early risk assessment. You'll be identifying or analyzing the risk which you can foresee at the very initial level. And the next activity is financial feasibility study. That is one of the important study to assess the financial aspects before starting a business. So it considers startup capital, expense, revenues, etc. The next activity is voice of customer. This is one of the most important activity because your complete design and other activities will be driving based on the requirements we set based on the voice of customer. So it's the collection of information about the customer expectations, the preferences and requirements of the product. And the last activity is patent research. This is a search of published patent. If the product is new and unique, there is always a possibility of applying for a patent related to your new product or a new invention identified at this stage. Basically, at this phase, you research and analyze different possibilities and see what best works for your product. So we'll get into the next phase. It's a planning phase. So we'll be doing a number of different plans in this phase. So the first one is project plan. So project planning is the planning related to the project execution and the project control. Also, this project plan includes the planning related to the timeline, the planning related to the number of resources used for the project or activities, and also the identification of project deliverables, etc. Next is design and development plan. This describes overall development program, and also this includes the steps and activities to follow to reach your final product. So the next plan is the risk management plan. So the risk management plan is to foresee the risk and its impact. Uh, uh, the purpose is to identify the potential problems before they occur and take necessary preventive measures at the early stage of the development process. Uh, the fourth one is a regulatory plan. Regulatory plan is to identify specific steps and activities required to successfully meet the regulatory strategy activity objectives. Uh, it contains specific elements required for the regulatory submissions of the product. Uh, the next is quality plan. The quality plan specifies the quality standards and practices to be followed. Also, it includes the specifications and sequence of activities related to the product or the project. to achieve quality objectives of the product. Next is operation plan. Operation plan. It's really the manual for operating the organization. It is planned to designed in such a way that you accomplish your organization goals by following a specific execution plan. This also contains information about the inventory requirements, the suppliers, the manufacturing processes, the delivery service, etc. The another one is the usability engineering plan. Usability engineering plan focusing more on improvising the usability or intended use of the product. This also include plan for identifying and analyzing risk involved in the usability of the product. And also in some cases, at the end of this planning phase, uh, we'll be doing the evaluation of the concepts and the identification of the concept or the selection process of the concepts all will be followed at the end of this stage. Now we'll get into the third phase, the design and development. The activities involved in the design and development are the detailed design, the prototype development, packaging development, process development, and risk management documentation. So, in the detailed design, you'll be focusing more on the design of the components and assembly. So this will be done by considering the product requirements and design inputs. So this includes multiple outputs such as 3D or 2D CAD models, also the cost estimation of the components identified, the procurement plans, uh, the technical specifications or documentation related to the design. So everything. The second activity is prototype development. Once the design is done, you need to physically see the samples and evaluate. For that, we have to develop a prototype. So it's a process of developing the physical samples from the CAD models uh, or the design files to evaluate the design and to get a look and feel of the product. So multiple prototypes will be developed sometimes by doing multiple design iterations to ensure form, fit, and functionality of the product. Um, and also the prototypes will be evaluated uh, and do necessary changes to improvise the design. The third one is packaging development. Packaging, everyone knows that why the packaging, it's for basically uh, protecting the product during the shipping and handling, but also it enhances the visual image of the product. Uh, the fourth one is process development. Uh, Process development is for to develop methods for manufacturing, assembling, and inspection of the product. Uh, the last one is risk management documentation. So at this stage, we will be identifying the risk, or we will be foreseeing or documenting all the risk we foresee for the product, and also evaluate the potential impacts and implement the control measures uh, suitable for the risk to resolve the risk at the early stage. So the FME is a part of a trick management documentation, the failure mode of effective analysis. There is a specific steps and standards to be followed to evaluate each and every risk, uh, and it has to be documented uh, uh, effectively to show the evidence to the FDA during the registration of the product. Next is phase 4. Phase 4 focus on the verification and validation activities. The first activity is design verification and validation. So we'll see what is design verification and what is design validation. So the design verification conduct to confirm the design output meet the design input requirements by doing recommended testing and verification. So whereas the design validation ensures that the device meet all the user needs. So basically here you prove that the device you built work for the end user as intended. The next is packaging and labeling verification and validation. Uh, so you know that once the packaging design is done, it has to be validated. So this packaging validation ensures that the packaging integrity is maintained. The packaging integrity is maintained throughout all the phases of processing, handling, and also it ensures the expected shelf life of the product. Next is clinical validation. So this is one of the important and complex procedure. So this clinical validation is doing to make sure your product gives accurate and reliable results when it is used in the patient. So multiple clinical trials will be doing in animals or the samples uh, which helps to evaluate the product for the functionality and performance. Um, and also it will be helpful to determine the safety and efficiency of the product. The last activity is full process qualification. So by the end of this phase, we will be having a well-defined manufacturing process or the equipment used for producing qualified components for the device. So all these machines and equipments or the fixtures to be qualified uh, at this stage. Uh, Basically, it's a qualification of manufacturing and production process to confirm that they are able to constantly produce qualified components of the product for a longer duration. Now we'll get into the fifth phase. Fifth phase is launch phase. Uh, the regulatory submission, the sterilization, accelerator aging, launching, and training and support all will be doing at this stage. Uh, for the regulatory submission, uh, you know that the regulatory submission is a process through which the company submit information about their newly developed product to a regulatory agency so that the regulatory agency can review the files and approve so that you'll be able to launch the product in a new market. So the sterilization is the procedure of making a product free from bacteria or other microorganisms. So it is done usually by heat or chemical agents or gases. So there are a lot of different sterilization methods already adopted in medical industry. Uh, Next is accelerated aging. So accelerated aging is doing for finding shelf life of the product. Uh, it's a method of testing during the testing that uses the aggravated conditions of the heat, humidity, oxygen, sunlight, vibration, because all these have an impact on the product and will reduce the lifetime of the product. So we'll be speeding up the normal aging process of the product and identify the shelf life of the product. So it's yeah, as I said, it's like basically doing to identify the lifespan of the product without any degradation of the quality when it is stored for a longer period of time. Uh, so next is launch. You will be launching your product to the market, and you'll be launching uh, the products uh, to the healthcare providers, hospitals, and clinics. Next is training and support. So once after the launch and the product being sold to the healthcare providers, hospitals, and clinics, you should be able to give proper training and support to the product. It's for ensuring the safety and correct use of the product. So also, this will The customer feels comfortable to use in the site at the right away confidently once after they gain the training. Now we'll get into the last phase. The sixth phase is post-market. The activities involved in the sixth phase are post-market surveillance, the report analysis, the product improvement, and launching in new markets. So, what is post-market surveillance? Post-market surveillance is a practice of monitoring the safety of the medical device after it's been launched in the new market. So basically, there is a specific team and a specific process to be followed to gather all the information related to the safety and compliance, and this will act as a baseline for the improvement of the product in future. Second is report analysis. The reports will have all the evidences uh, and the information about the uh, safety issues and complaints, so that the company will be able to derive necessary corrective and preventive actions. Uh, Next is product improvement. The improvements in the design or process will be done based on the report uh, to rectify the issues of the released product. So also the company wanted to sustain the product in the market for a longer period of time. So all the uh, different level of safety and compliance will be tracked properly and evaluated, and the product will be changed or improvised uh, uh, to ensure the quality and efficiency of the product is maintained throughout the life cycle of the product. Then once the product is successful in one market, the company will be planning to launch the same product in new different markets. So that is the launching, that is the last activity, launching in new market. Also the launching of the new markets will be done by following all regulatory requirements for that particular market. I have prepared a document related to the medical device development, uh, and you will be able to download the document in the link uh, given in the description of this video. Um, so hope that will be helpful. Please comment and stay tuned. We'll see with some other topic in a different video. Thank you.